We've talked about Nancy Grace before and how some of her tactics on her show are a little sensationalist and can be a little destructive to society. And recently she was blamed for the suicide of a 29-year-old woman by the name of Tony Medrano. She was charged with manslaughter because she got drunk and she liked to sleep with her newborn baby on the couch. Well, when she woke up, she realized that her baby was dead, and it was because of asphyxia. So she accidentally rolled onto her baby and the baby died. So it's a tragic story, and the woman was charged with manslaughter and faced 10 years in prison as a result of that. Well, Nancy Grace decided to report on this story, and she referred to her as the vodka mom and did the following on her program.
Did mommy booze it up and kill her baby? My question is, why no murder one charges? But hold on, let's start our experiment. Here you go, here's the one.
While traditional journalists try to balance the importance of the news versus the potential for harm, cable commentators may not see things the same way.
If you're treating that more like entertainment, then the news value is reduced.
So the way she covers the story comes off as bullying the people that have to do with the story. So she's calling her the vodka mom, she's demonizing her. She's a mother of 4. Investigators said that they don't believe that she was a violent mother or has done anything wrong in the past. In fact, one of the investigators said, "I sincerely don't believe that she had any intent to cause harm to her child this evening. By all other accounts, she's been a productive mom, a good mom. She's done a decent job of raising her children. She unfortunately was in the habit of sleeping with this particular child from the day it came home from the hospital."
Now, this story breaks my heart. I mean, the idea of accidentally killing your own kid because you overdrank and that was obviously not what you should have done, it's heartbreaking. I have a lot of mixed emotions about that. Of course, it's negligence and you shouldn't have done that. And so if you want to talk about, hey, should she receive punishment, I think that's a fair conversation. On the other hand, given that she's a good mom otherwise, according to the investigators, any human being would have some degree of empathy towards her, right? But Nancy Grace doesn't see shades of Grace. She sees things in terms of ratings. And if I do this cute little skit where I pour the vodka and I bully her and I yell at her and I judge her, and that's Nancy Grace 101. Judge, judge, judge. Well, sometimes it has consequences, and this woman killed herself.
She killed herself by setting herself on fire. And her mother, the mother of the woman who's committed suicide, said that this happened after she watched the video of Nancy Grace saying the things that she had to say. She was trying to be strong, trying to get through what she was going through, and then that kind of threw her over the edge. Her mom says that her daughter was shaking and couldn't take a breath after she saw the Nancy Grace report. Now, I'm not blaming the suicide on Nancy Grace. Like, I'm not saying, oh, Nancy Grace is responsible for her suicide. In the end, the mother made the decision to take her life, and it's unfortunate, but at the same time, we have to do something about the way people report the news, especially when it comes to cable news. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. You can't demonize people like that, especially when you don't have all the facts.
Now, I don't think there's anything that can be done, to be honest with you.
Nothing will be done. I'm not expecting it to be done.
Look, and I think it's within her freedom of speech to do the kind of show that she does. And, if she wants to go after that, and then O'Reilly goes after somebody else, and we go after a third person, et cetera, et cetera. But what you should be is, we hope, a decent human being. And that you don't manufacture the outrage, right? And that you don't direct it at people that are powerless rather than the powerful, right? So it's one thing to get upset at your government, whether O'Reilly does or we do, et cetera. It's one thing to hold people accountable. But when you take a woman who, in this case, was by all accounts devastated by what she had done, and you literally pour, well, it's not literal, of course, but you pour salt into those wounds, and you add insult to injury, and just the way that she bears down on him. And then, doesn't it make you think for a second as a human being, Jesus, how does this woman feel?
It's glorified bullying. And to be honest with you, Nancy Grace doesn't feel bad about it at all. In fact, this is the second time that one of the people that she's reported on committed suicide after watching her report on them. Back in 2006, there was a 21-year-old by the name of Melinda Duckett of Leesburg, Florida, and she killed herself after Grace interviewed her about the disappearance of her 2-year-old son, Trenton.
Now, I'm sure that Grace, in her own mind, thinks I'm going after the bad guys, and I need to stand up for the victims, and I'm there for that little baby and all that stuff, right? And I need to bully and intimidate and malign and point these people out so that they don't do it again or other people don't do it again. On the other hand, does she care a lot about her ratings? Does she know that when she does the cutesy little tricks with vodka, her ratings go up? That the more she puts people into a frenzy, the better her show does? Oh, come on, get real. Of course she knows that, right? And so I would hope that she would have some degree of balance. That if she really cared about the victims, that she would, attach that kind of anger to the appropriate cases. But she seems to do it sometimes so indiscriminately, and this is a very good case of it, that you begin to question her ethics.